Wall Street, as we mentioned, benefited from the China tariff delays today. President Trump tweeting this morning that the tariffs on certain agricultural goods are actually helping farmers. But our NBC sources say that might not be the whole truth. NBC's Jane Timm is joining me now to talk through how American farmers are actually doing in the trade war. And Jane, the president did say the U.S. farmers are, quote, let's quote him exactly, getting more than China would be spending. What exactly does he mean by that?
The president's talking about an aid package that he put together through a Depression-era program for some of this to actually fund money to these farmers whose soybeans are not being brought up, crops that were planted that aren't getting sold, because China is the fourth largest consumer, especially of grains, of American farmers. And they're pulling that back and they're saying, okay, we're going to try and cut your losses. But farmers say, you know what, it's maybe cutting some of the losses, but it's not turning this into a profitable season. It's also changing the market. Right. So you want to sell it and you want to keep your customers with you. You don't always want to have a bailout come in and save your year because you don't know what it's going to do next year.
Gene, the president keeps saying that China devalues its currency and that those devaluations are in turn paying for the tariffs. Does that hold up?
So he started saying this a few weeks ago as sort of an explanation of what he said is how China is somehow paying the tariffs, which, as we know, are something that importers pay when a good crosses the border.
Right.
And I called economists and I called experts and I called people who understand trade. It's very complex. And they said, no, we're just not seeing it. We're seeing things come across the border at the price they've been coming across the border. China is not absorbing the cost of the tariff. There's not enough devaluation of the currency to actually make up for this. And they're just not seeing it the way the president says is his opinion.
So a lot of people look at this and think, how is this affecting me? How are Americans paying? Are we seeing this reflected in, payment per household, more payment for these goods?
Americans probably are seeing this. It depends on what you buy and where you buy it and whether or not American importers are the ones who are actually absorbing a lot of these costs. Right. But we have a study that says that American consumers are probably paying $831 for an average household more than they would have. But like those Trump tax cuts, which hit a lot of middle-income homes with a $900 cut, you might not see it immediately in the short term. But I think as what the president did today, moving those tariffs until the goods are in the country for the Christmas season, that is what we call a tell.
I like that, Jane. That is a tell. All right, so let's just ask this final question then. If the U.S. is essentially footing the bill, or families will be footing the bill, what is the trade war ultimately achieving for the administration?
This to me goes down to the many months I spent on the campaign trail with the president, that he argued and he campaigned on the idea that other people were taking advantage of America. And he wants to get back at that, even if it doesn't always make sense the way most economists would say.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.